Every time vinegar goes into a washing machine, two things happen at the same time. It dissolves something real, the invisible film of detergent and mineral that is making the towels stiff and the darks look gray. And it starts a slow, quiet argument with the most expensive rubber part in the machine, the door seal, and with an aluminum part deep inside that most owners have never heard of. Which of those two things wins in a particular machine, the cleaning or the damage, comes down to just two details: where the vinegar touches, and how strong it is when it gets there. Get those two details right, and vinegar is the best dollar in the laundry room. Get them wrong, quietly, load after load, and it becomes a slow tax on a $200 seal and a $300 repair. And if that sounds contested, it is. Under one video on this exact question, watched by over 1 million people, a full war broke out. A washing machine repair technician with 38 years of experience, 1,700 likes, saying vinegar provides no benefit, damages the rubber seals, and corrodes the metal frame. Directly below him, a woman who has poured vinegar into her rinse cycle for 40 years, 1,300 likes, saying her machine is spotless and she does not care what the experts think. Here is the uncomfortable truth this video settles. They are both telling the truth about their own machines. And by the end, the difference between their two machines will be completely obvious. So this is the whole picture, graded honestly. The 4 things vinegar genuinely does in a laundry load, and the chemistry behind each one. What a 5% acid slowly attacks, which explains why a plumber and an appliance technician give opposite answers about the same bottle. The one pouring habit that separates the 40-year success story from the corroded machines the technician keeps opening up. The safe protocol, including the one mixing mistake that turns a laundry room into a hazard. And at the end, the real reason washing machines gunk up and stink, which was buried inside the technician's own comment, costs $0 to fix, and almost everyone scrolled past it. That last part is the most valuable thing in this video, and it is the reason to stay. The usual word first, because it is how this channel works. Nothing here is secret. The chemistry is high school level, the sources are in the description, and every claim gets a grade. What works, what fails, what it costs. Start with why people pour it. Because the benefits are real, and pretending otherwise loses the argument in the first minute. Benefit 1, and it is the big one. Vinegar dissolves detergent residue. One commenter under that video told a story worth repeating. She dropped a full bottle of detergent on her laundry room tile, and nothing would clean up the slick. Mopping made it worse. Then she poured vinegar on it, and the soap film dissolved and wiped away. That is exactly the job vinegar does inside a rinse cycle. Modern laundry runs on far more detergent than the clothes can use. The excess never fully rinses out, and it stays behind as a thin film in the fabric. That film is why towels stop absorbing water. A towel is thousands of tiny cotton loops, and when each loop wears a coat of leftover soap, water beads instead of soaking. It is why dark clothes develop that dull gray haze, which is not fading at all, just residue scattering light. A splash of vinegar in the rinse dissolves that film, which is why people swear their towels came back to life. They did. Benefit 2. The musty towel smell. That sour, damp odor is bacteria living in exactly that residue layer, plus fabric softener film, and eating it. Strip the residue, and the colony loses its home and its food in the same wash. Benefit 3. Vinegar replaces fabric softener entirely, softening by removing stiff mineral and soap deposits from fibers, rather than by coating them in fragrance chemicals. And that difference matters far more than it sounds, because the softener thread gets pulled hard at the end of this video. Benefit 4. Hard water. In most of the country, wash water carries dissolved calcium and magnesium, and those minerals stiffen fabric, dull colors, and slowly scale onto the drum and heater, the same way they scale a kettle. Mild acid dissolves mineral scale on contact. 4 real jobs, from a jug that costs about $1 a gallon, and the people in that comment section reporting softer towels and cleaner laundry are not imagining a single one of them. Now the chemistry, because this is where the war actually gets settled. White vinegar is about 5% acetic acid, a mild acid sitting around 2.5 on the pH scale, where 7 is neutral water. Acids are excellent against 2 families of things. Minerals, meaning limescale and hard water deposits, and alkaline residue, which is precisely what detergent and soap scum are, since detergents are built alkaline to cut grease. So the winning column writes itself. Mineral scale, dissolved. Soap film, neutralized and rinsed. That is the entire benefits list explained in one line of chemistry. But a mild acid also has two slower targets, and this is the half of the story the pro vinegar videos never film. The first is rubber. A washing machine is full of it. The thick door gasket on a front loader, the pump seal, the internal hoses, the drawer seals. Acetic acid does not melt rubber on contact. Nothing that cinematic. What repeated exposure does is leach the flexible compounds out of the rubber, dry it, harden it, and open fine cracks along the folds, the same way years of weather age a tire. A hardened, cracked door gasket does not seal, and a front loader gasket replacement runs $150 to $250 at most shops. The second target is the one the 38-year technician named, and almost nobody else on the internet ever mentions. Inside a modern washer, the drum that spins is carried by a 3-arm support called a spider, bolted to the back of the drum, and on most machines it is cast from aluminum alloy. Aluminum lives happily in neutral water. What it cannot tolerate is regular acid exposure, which accelerates the corrosion that slowly eats the casting. When a spider or the bearing behind it fails, the machine begins to bang like a jet engine on spin, and that repair is quoted at $300 to $400, which for most washers is the day it goes to the curb. So hold both halves at once. The same dollar jug is genuinely good against minerals and residue, and genuinely bad, slowly, against rubber and aluminum. Both armies in that comment section are describing real chemistry. They are just describing different parts of the machine. Which brings us to the detail that decides everything. And it is not whether the vinegar goes in. It is where and how strong. Follow the two patterns from the comments. The 40-year success story adds a splash of vinegar to the rinse cycle, where it dilutes instantly into several gallons of water. At that dilution, the acid is strong enough to strip a microscopic soap film, and far too weak to meaningfully attack rubber or metal in the few minutes it flows through and drains away. That is the safe pattern, and it is why her machine is spotless after 4 decades. Now the damage pattern. It is the full cup of undiluted vinegar poured into the fabric softener drawer, where it sits at full strength against plastic and rubber for the entire wash, dripping slowly through the dispenser channels until the rinse finally releases it. It is the hot vinegar soak left standing in the drum against the door gasket for hours because a video promised it kills mold. It is a cup in every single load, every week, for years, so the rubber never gets a dry day. Concentration and contact time. That is the entire difference between the spotless machine and the corroded one, and it is the sentence that ends the comment war. Diluted and occasional, vinegar is a cleaner. Concentrated and constant, it is a slow solvent aimed directly at the most expensive parts of the machine. And now the question in the title answers itself. Why do plumbers love this trick while appliance technicians warn against it? Because the two trades see different halves of the same machine. A plumber's world is everything that flows out. Drains, traps, standpipes, mineral scale, soap sludge. On that side of the wall, vinegar only ever helps, because it dissolves exactly the deposits that choke a drain line. An appliance technician's world is everything that stays behind. Seals, hoses, bearings, the aluminum spider, the electronics. On that side, vinegar is one more acid shortening the life of rubber and alloy. Neither trade is lying. They are grading different exam papers. And once that clicks, every contradictory vinegar answer on the entire internet suddenly makes sense. So here is the honest protocol, the version that keeps every benefit and drops the risk. The vinegar goes in diluted, which means into the drum with the water or into the rinse, never sitting at full strength in the softener drawer. Half a cup is plenty, and plain white distilled is the only kind that belongs in a machine. It is an occasional tool, reached for when towels turn musty, whites go gray, or hard water film builds. Not a ritual performed on every load, because every benefit it delivers is a cleanup job, and a cleanup only needs doing when something has built up. After any wash, the door gasket gets a 10-second wipe with a dry cloth, and the door stays open so the machine dries out, which does more against seal mold than any liquid ever poured into it. And one absolute rule, the kind this channel repeats on purpose. Vinegar never goes into a machine, a load, or a drum that has chlorine bleach in it, anywhere, in any amount. Acid-meeting bleach releases chlorine gas, And in a small closed laundry room, that is not a cleaning mistake. It is an emergency. The two bottles do not share a laundry day. Sources for that one are in the description, and it is not negotiable. Which leaves the promise from the top. The thing both armies missed while they argued about vinegar. Go back to what the 38-year technician actually wrote, past the sentence everyone reacted to. After condemning vinegar, his advice from opening up thousands of machines was 2 lines long. Never use fabric softener, and use half the detergent the bottle recommends. Read those 2 lines again, because they quietly explain the entire war. The gunk everyone is fighting, the gray sludge on the drum, the black growth on the gasket, the smell that comes back every month, is not a vinegar problem or an anti-vinegar problem. It is a buildup problem, and it is manufactured inside the machine by 2 everyday habits. Fabric softener first. Softener works by design as a waxy, greasy coating that clings to fabric to make it feel smooth. And it cannot tell the difference between a towel and a drum. It coats the machine just as happily, layer after layer, load after load, and that waxy film is the foundation the sludge and the mold build on. Detergent second. The cap on the bottle is a marketing instrument, not a measuring instrument, and a modern high-efficiency machine needs a fraction of what the lines on that cap suggest. The extra soap never rinses. It becomes the residue that stiffens towels, feeds odor bacteria, and papers the inside of the machine. Cut those 2 inputs, softener to 0, detergent to half, and the buildup mostly never forms in the first place. Nothing needs dissolving, because nothing accumulated. The entire vinegar debate is a war over how best to clean up a mess that 2 free decisions prevent completely. Softener in the trash, half the detergent, door left open to dry. $0, straight from the harshest vinegar critic in the whole thread, and both his supporters and his opponents scrolled right past it. And for the machine that already smells, no matter what gets poured into it, the odor is very often not in the drum at all. Down at the bottom front of most front loaders, behind a small plastic flap, lives the drain pump filter, a little trap that catches coins, hair ties, lint, and buttons before they reach the pump. Almost nobody on earth has opened theirs. The job takes 5 minutes. A towel on the floor, a shallow pan, twist the cap slowly, let the trapped water drain, and pull the filter. What comes out of that little trap after a few years, and what it smells like, explains more mystery laundry odor than every bottle in the cleaning aisle combined. It costs nothing. It is the first thing a technician checks on a smell complaint, and it is the single most satisfying 5 minutes in home appliance care. A quick run through the questions that filled the rest of that comment section, because most machines land in one of these. Does this apply to top loaders? The benefits: fully. The risks: barely. A top loader has no door bellows collecting acid and far less exposed rubber, which is exactly why the 40-year success story, who started in the top loader era, never saw damage. Front loader owners are the ones the dilution rule protects. What about well water heavy with iron? One commenter with iron-rich water noticed a strange metallic smell whenever her vinegar released into the rinse, and the water company had no explanation. The chemistry does. Acid frees dissolved iron from deposits. Freed iron smells metallic, and it can tint whites orange. Heavy iron water is the one situation where an alkaline laundry booster, washing soda from the same store aisle, is the better tool, because alkalinity drops iron out of the water instead of dissolving more of it in. Does the vinegar smell stay in the clothes? No. Acetic acid is volatile, meaning it evaporates completely in the dryer or on the line. And if a smell lingers, far too much went in. Can vinegar and detergent go into the same wash together? Not usefully. Detergent is alkaline, vinegar is acid, and mixed together they mostly cancel each other into slightly salty water, which cleans nothing. Vinegar belongs in the rinse, after the detergent has done its work and gone. Should it ever go into the little bleach compartment? No, for the reason already covered. That compartment exists for one chemical that must never meet this one. So, the verdict, in dollars, with no romance in it. Vinegar as an occasional diluted rinse tool. Genuinely useful, fixes real problems, and replaces $60 to $80 a year of fabric softener. At a dilution the machine simply does not notice. Vinegar as a concentrated every load ritual. A slow tax on a $200 door gasket and a $300 bearing job. Paid for benefits the diluted version already delivers in full. And the routine neither army was talking about. No softener, half the detergent, door open, gasket wiped, pump filter opened once a year. Free, and it prevents the very buildup every bottle in this debate is trying to cure. The 40-year lady and the 38-year technician were never really enemies. She found the safe dose. He kept meeting the people who did not. Full sources for every claim are in the description. Subscribing is free, and every week another popular fix gets checked honestly against the repair bill it flirts with. And the comments are where this channel earns its keep. Which side of the vinegar war are you on? What has it actually done to your machine? And if you open that pump filter tonight, come back and report what was living in there. All three answers make the next video better. See you in the next one.